All right. Good morning, Oak Crest saints around the world. And good to be here again. Little by little, my strength's getting a little better. That's good. And some have been wanting to know, well, if you didn't have the virus, then what did you have? I don't think we really know. I'd rather think I had the virus and it didn't show up for whatever reason. But the Z-Pack kicked me over. I hadn't run a fever in 60 years. It just don't happen to me. My normal temperature is around 95, not 98, around 95, and somewhere in that range. But I ran a fever. I don't know how many days, and I started out with chills that shook my body until it was painful. And that's been, I don't know how many days ago now, a bunch of days. But whatever it was, I had a fever, I had the chills, body aches, couldn't stay warm, had an electric blanket around me for days. And when I would able to get out of bed, but I would get in the recliner. I was able to get my shower every day. That was big. But I get in the recliner with sheets over the recliner and covered with the sheet, and then 2 electric blankets turned on, and that was for days. But whatever it was, I went through it. It went through my body. I'm getting stronger, and and no fever. Hadn't run a fever. I spent at least a week with no fever at all. So I'm doing well. Whatever it was, it's whatever. A thing is whatever it is. And but I know that I had some of those terrible symptoms that some people have had with the virus. But thank the Lord, and thank the Lord for my doctor. My doctor, several weeks ago, I don't know, maybe months ago, my caretaker called my doctor and asked about prescribing me hydrochloroquine, and he said no. He said I'll not do that. He said it's just not proven. Well, he's been reading the Democrats' reports and fake doctors' reports, if you please, and so it's been used for 65 years. The medicine has been used. I said, yeah, but somebody died and it caused a heart attack. And when they were using it, and then when they checked out, they gave them lethal dosage of it. And no doctor has the right to give anybody a lethal dosage of hydrochloroquine. 200 milligram tablet is really basic, all they need. And not even have to have a shot and those kind of things. So anyway, but my doctor did send the Z-Pack, and that was one of the 3 things that my president said has been. He said that 3 months ago. He said it's working with some, and he said that I'm on a prescription now of hydrochloroquine. So he took so many days, whatever it is. You don't just keep on taking it. I suppose you don't. And the day that he took his last, and he mentioned that, I pay attention to my president, and I like him a lot. Okay, and I don't take for granted all things that he says or people. Nothing anybody says about him bad. I don't take that at all. But anyway, thank the Lord that whatever I had, it appears that I'm completely over it. I'm not in the strength stage. Say one of our Filipino missionary cars is parked out here just outside the building, and a couple things I need to do to it. I finished doing. I've already done several items, and but I'm not able to do that. I don't have the strength to go outside in the heat and do it, even though the temperatures right now are very uh, different than it's been in days past. Not. I mean, all the what they say it feels like. Maybe feels like 99, and maybe peak at 100. But the temperatures are staying down compared to what we had some days in the past. But I'm still not up. I'm giving you a report. People keep asking. I'm giving it to you. Okay. And if you don't like this, you get on those that asked. Okay. They're the cause of it. But anyway, when the report came back, and that this is not the virus. That when that report came, it took 2 weeks for them to get the report after sending it to the lab somewhere, and they said it's behind on testing and different things. But and just one came in a couple of days ago and said negative. The test is negative. Well, immediately I get texts from different families. I'm just about all of our families really, and they got up and ran around in the house like they were celebrating over here in the auditorium of the church building for the good report. And so everybody's happy about it. I'm happy about it, and we'll just go on and on. Two of our men who came down with some symptoms was a little bit we was concerned about it. But it appears both of them have gone through it and they're doing okay. So thank the Lord for that. But anyway, we've talked about those things a lot. I guess it's because we're in a pandemic. And of course, they defined several months ago why it's called a pandemic. It's not just a national virus, but it's world pandemic. So we got surrounding countries having this same problem. Whether they have a lab in Wuhan, China. They have a lab there. I was reading about it a while back of a book that someone published in 1984, and they were publishing in the book, a lot of information, too much for me to read off the book. But when he began to talk about the Chinese man, the Chinaman, who came from Wuhan to America for his life, and they brought him right into the lab. He brought information with him. They took the information in our labs. We got all this stuff. And went through the procedure they had for creating a particular virus that they had planned to release on the world, and I think it could possibly be the very one we're having now. Anyway, they're planning on that as a what do you call that? Germ warfare, maybe. And so anyway, they went through it, and sure enough, they were able to make the virus in our lab. So now it's 84. Actually, I think thereabouts that time when wrote the book, published it. So they said this is legitimate. This Chinaman is telling us the truth, and the Chinese warriors were building this in their lab, in their germ warfare lab in Wuhan, China. And so then, whether this is that or not, the point is it came upon the world, and now Chinese can't get rid of it. They keep trying to contain it in Wuhan, but it's already reached other parts of China. So anyway, it's a terrible pandemic, and that's why we talk about it so much. But I got something better to talk about. Let's get on with it. Sister Pam said, "Good morning, everyone. I love these morning get-togethers. Thank God for setting this up for us. and all his help. Thank the Lord for that. Let me tell you something about what is happening, and that is, and we thank God. We have not, even when I was not able to come from my room and come here and sit down, even when I was not able to do that, Brother Bill came in as my substitute, and all our folks kept typing in their chat, and so since we started this, we have not missed one day. We've not missed one day. So when I couldn't, someone else did. And so this is me. I mean, looking for the word. The word is contented. He's made us content. Now, you say, well, are they content not going to church house as our custom of worship has been? That's not the thing. He's made us content in whatsoever state we're in. And this is whatsoever state we're in. And so this is very good that we get to have this. And so then the Lord, instead of Oakcrest Baptist Church family looking for a psychiatrist or looking for some kind of government program because they're emotionally upset in all this, we are contented. And so then the Lord's made us content. And it fits the scriptures that whatsoever state we find ourselves in. Now, so many good things have happened this week, and we're looking for the good. We are looking for the good. And then the Adair household said, good message last night, and ran my 10 laps. And I promised if you didn't have the COVID, love you. So they see, I think just about every household did this. That's what I'm hearing. And I think somebody was running in here also. Just a couple of people. We didn't have no crowds in here. And but anyway, I'm thankful that everybody prayed for me, and your prayers were heard. And so thank you for that. Last evening, after and the evening went on, I was out of bed for necessary things, and all the way up until 11:05 or 8, the last time I had to get out of bed, and I was still awake at midnight. Now, if I dozed, I may have dozed a little bit in it, but I couldn't verify it to myself. But I'd look at my clock sitting right there close by me. I do it when I wake up a lot. But I was sleeping like an hour time, wake up. Sometimes it was an hour and a half, wake up. And until it moved on closer to time that I would get out of bed. At 4:28 this morning, one of those emergency things, I don't remember what they call them, somebody's stolen some child or something like that's going on. They give a description of the car, the license number, and something about it, and moo, and woke me up, and I was trying to sleep. So I grabbed my phone, and when I trying to find out how to get it off, and I finally clicked OK, and it went off. But I saw where it was. It's way up east part of Tennessee. And they're waking me up at 4:30 in the morning. As a little help, that's going to help them. I had a small prayer for them, though. I did have that. But I turned my phone. I said, this thing shouldn't have done that. I looked at my phone. It was set on vibrate. And I thought, when it's set on vibrate, you don't have that. So then I did something I've not done. It's my first time at 4:28 this morning. I clicked on that thing till it was no sound. And I hung my phone up, went to sleep, and slept to past 8 this morning. I wound up getting my 8 hours in before I ever got up. And I was not bothered at all. Came out here about 9 o'clock, I guess, and or 9:30 maybe, and sat down and checked my phone out. I'd missed a phone call from Brother Phil Worley, and he had called about 7:30. I'm glad I missed that call. I was sleeping, getting some of my beauty rest to make me look pretty for you. And anyway, I'm still getting the sleep. I may not gotten it the way I wanted it, but I got it anyway. So thank the Lord for rest. If anybody that has any sickness, recovery, rest is probably one of the, two things: rest and drinking water. It's probably the two best things you can do to help your body in recovery. Now, and some going to say exercise. That's what my mother would say. And last time my mother called me years ago, she's been gone to heaven now for many years, but she called me up, and she's about 85 at the time, and she called me early in the morning at my snooze time, about 6:30. And so I said, hello. And my mother said, son, are you still asleep? Yes, ma'am, I was. She said, well, son, I've already ran 3 miles this morning and mostly walk. And said, you need to get up and get to exercising. Oh, my, that's what my mother would say. So you might say that too, but let me tell you something. I'll be 80 years old, my birthday. I think I'm getting old enough. If I want to sit a while, I'll sit. All right. Got a good Bible. I'm finishing up. I'm just a chapter and a half finishing the book of the Revelation. And I love this. I love this. It's like you see the scene starts and has ending sometime in each chapter. After you have the 7 letters, then John is called up to heaven, and there it's one picture after another, one live, living thing after another. And he gets to see the angel. You know, we don't see the angels more than 99% of the time. We do not visually see the angels. Now, the angels can make themselves bodily appear before us. They've done it before. They can do it again, and that's all in the will of God. But as a kind of a rule, sort of rule of thumb, you never see an angel. They minister to you without you seeing. And here's John. He sees every one of them. He sees multitudes of angels also. And then he has one angel that was guiding him. And as he guides him into a scene, there's another angel that's going to blow a trumpet. There's another angel. And whatever seal there, the Lord's pulling loose. And just one event after other. So I'm reading the book of the Revelation. It said, and I'm going to paraphrase. Some of these chapters, I get to the end, I was like, and they lived happily ever after. That's kind of how you end. And then the very next chapter, you go through a different view. It's like reading the Gospels that give you a different view of some of the same events. And then blending in other events that the other Gospels didn't have. In the book of the Revelation, you have a series of events that are given to John for us. And boy, I tell you what, thank God he has saved us. Now, pay attention to what I'm saying, because it's the Bible. That he has saved us against the wrath to come. One of the angels is going to say here, I read it just a while ago, and he's going to say the Lord is righteous, and his judgments are righteous. So then the Lord, to be angry with the with people and anger with the earth, it's righteous anger. Has a right to. And when that wrath comes, like one event's going to be in that 3.5 years of the last part of the tribulation. And they have creatures that come right out of the pit, and they are given directions and instructions, and they have stingers in their tails. They have fire in their mouth. They have teeth like lions, and their wings, when they're fluttering their wings, it sounds like many chariots and horses running. A fearful time. And those stingers that hit people, said it's on like a scorpion. Said that's what he likens it to for John to write down. But he said they can't die. For 5 months, they torment and they can't die. They want to die. They seek to die. They can't get nobody to kill them. Nothing works. Trying to drown themselves and can't. They cannot die. And for 5 months, they're tortured, using the word tormented. And so then that's the wrath of God, but it's righteous wrath. God has a right. Instead of letting them die quickly, no. He said that these can't die quickly. They've been too wicked. They've been too sodomy, and they too been rebellious against the Lord and all the saints. And so then now is God's righteous judgment, and they're going to be tormented for 5 months. And not getting off that easy. Not going to get off that easy. You're going to be tormented for 5 months, wanting to die every day, every minute, and can't. I'm telling you, that's the wrath of God. But you know what? He saved us against that wrath. Thank God. We're not going to enter into that wrath because he saved us against that day. What a good salvation. So he saved you from hell. He saved you from your sins. He saved you unto righteousness. He saved you unto heaven. But he's also saved you against the wrath to come. What a good God Almighty. It's right. And this was commented earlier today to me, that the beginning of this 1,000-year reign, the first thing, we come back with the Lord, and there's war. And so then in the war, we got swords. We got wonderful horses. All our horses are white. Isn't that something? All of our uniform is going to be white robes. We're going to be children of light with a new face that we never had before, and it's going to shine. It'll be brilliance. We might even have our name tag on, like our name is in a stone on the table at the marriage feast. It just might be, we're going to have our new name. Everybody's going to have a new name. And the Lord's going to have a new name. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. The Lord's going to have a new name. And it said, his name is called the Word of God. It's going to be wonderful to find what the Word is, that his name shall. He's going to have it. Now, Jesus is a wonderful name. He'll never do with that. He'll never do that away. He's just going to have a new name. And the new name's going to be written for him. And it's going to be the Word of God. This is going to be, we got wonderful days coming. I'm not looking for the judgments. We're saved against that. I'm looking for what God is doing with the saints, for the saints. And what a wonderful God. What a wonderful God. I mean, what a wonderful life that I'm saved against that. The saints are not afraid to die. Now, some of the wicked gets their conscience is so seared over, and you'll hear them say it anyway. They're not afraid to die. That's what they're saying. But 1 second before the great God, it says they're fearful. Fear. So that at some point in time, fear comes on them, no matter how much it's covered up with their conscience being dead. And but the saints not only are not afraid to die, we look forward to the good. Uh, it's unusual. It's unusual for the saints to want to die. That'd be unusual. David didn't want to die. He wanted to see it extended. And on and on and on, we hear these things. Hezekiah, and he wanted to be extended. God extended it. And he lived to be in his 50s. I don't remember now what age, you have to look in the Bible, but in his 50s. And but he's going to die 15 years before that. So that was extended. And he thanked God for it. He even praised the Lord when Isaiah came to Hezekiah, and that for God's goodness. Now, a long life. Now, long life. Proverbs helps us with long life. Probably more Proverbs in any verses in it. You'll have some verses throughout the Bible, but Proverbs particularly, and especially the first 3 chapters, especially. And you get in that 3rd chapter, it's really good. You see, in your right mind, you want long life. Now, a wrong mind is when you just say, I'm not saying you're not saved. I'm saying your wrong mind is just your thinking is not right, or your thinking is not clear. But when your thinking is in the scriptures there about extending your days, you love that. You love that. You love that. Now, I've seen people, and I've gone and prayed with people that wanted to die there because of their suffering with certain cancers and pain in their bodies, and they wanted to die. And I was standing over a person in their hospital bed, and they asked me to pray that they would die. You say, are they saved? I have no reason to doubt their salvation because they wanted to die. They wanted the pain to be over. They wanted the pain to be over. That would be kind of normal, wouldn't it? And but the saints, as a rule, want to live. Not only have your life extended, but your health. You want your health to be better. That's normal, isn't it? Read it back there. Look at that 3rd chapter of Proverbs again. You know, just reading the scriptures and loving the scriptures and loving the wisdom of God and asking for it and looking for it. And as you read there, especially Proverbs, as you read, your wisdom increases reading. It's like reading the book of the Revelation. He starts out by telling us in the 1st chapter, he said, if you read this, if you read this book called the Book of the Revelation, if you read this, you're going to be blessed. Just read it. So when you read those things about days being added to you, and then is it in Ephesians? Is that where it's at? Where Paul said about honoring our fathers and our mothers. He said, it is the first commandment with promise, that it go well with thee. And the Lord will add to your years, add to your time. So just by honoring your parents. So then that's Bible stuff. That's Bible stuff. And it's real. And it really works. It really does work. When I was young, my mother was concerned, and put it that with her words, that I wouldn't live to be grown. And those days we considered you got to be 20, you were grown. And then when I got saved, at the age of 21 and some months, I was a few months away from 22. And so when I got saved, I'm talking about the Lord really cleared everything. He forgave me everything purged it from me, forgave me of all that was ever wrong. It seemed like at that time, in that moment, it seemed like nobody was ever as bad as I was. That was my opinion of myself at the time, and I do remember that part. And but he cleaned it and just cleansed it. And so that we began a journey. But here I am now in my 20s, and I had in my mind, and probably it's because I've been raised with some of those things said, had a possibility anyway of shaping my thoughts. I thought, well, I'll never live to be 30. I'll never live to be that much. And I had associates, put it that way, whether it's close enough to call them friends or not, but that had died, some in their teens and some in their 20s. I remember that this real tall guy that I was in school with just short time, a 1 year class, and he went to work at a garage service station, and he was learning to be a mechanic, and he doing brake work, and he bought him a Buick, kind of one of those big old cars back in those days, about a 3-hole Buick, and was not fancy, and he just worked on it, made it run, and he was driving out the highway, and the Highway 51, you're still in Tipton County, just outside of Covington, and you're going toward Ripley, Mississippi, Henning, Ripley, that direction toward Dyersburg, and you're driving up through there. Before you get to the bridge, there was a wide turn in the highway, and the highway had been brought up with two, the lanes coming one direction on that side lane, so you had a double lane here, double there. But in the medium between them was huge oak trees that they had saved when they were building the highways in the middle. And the highway had made a big turn in it. Now it's changed. It's not like that now, but it was then. And I remember Billy, seeing me drive his big Buick, and he was tall. He was probably 6'2" or 3", real lanky, thin, and he's driving his Buick, and I see him barrel down the highway past and just really running that thing. Well, on one of these weekend times, he went driving out that way. I don't know where he was headed, but he was driving out that way on 51 highway, making the turn. But he was at such a high rate of speed, the Buick could not stay in the road and went off in the median and hit one of those huge oak trees. Killed him instantly. I think he was 29 years old. And he was older than me just by a couple of years maybe. And boy, I'm telling you, I've had all these thoughts. But here I am. If I don't die in the next few months, when December the 8th comes around, I will be, it'll be my 80th birthday. And my older sister, she had her 80th birthday a few years back. She's 3.5 years older than I am. And then my younger sister is just 1.5 years behind me. So she's not, something, it's just the four of us. And I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people said we'd never live to be grown. There's a lot of people. And here, the four of us, one is in their 80s, 2 is going to be 80 close by, 3 not far from being 80 behind me, and then my brother was June the 4th or 6th, I've forgotten really, is his birthday. And so then I'm 3.5 years older than my kid brother. I think that's right, 3.5. And I think I'm right. I think he was born 44 in June. And so something like that. Well, I'm just saying, all four of us are in senior years. See, all four of us. We didn't have a big family. Some people thought our family was big all the time. It seemed like all our cousins hung around, that kind of thing. But anyway, the four of us are senior in our years. I have one thing that I'll name first. I have two to add we just said. Number one, my father, and it's hard to say these words, but he was a drunkard. If you want to be scriptural, my father was a drunkard. Life was not easy. Life just was not easy. But you know what? All four of us honored our father and our mother. Him being a drunkard didn't stop us from honoring him. And so then that's one thing that I can say scripturally has added to the senior years of all four of the children. The second thing is the scriptures. And it was my grandmother, it was Ma and Pa to me. It was Mom and Papa to my mother. And Ma came down to the house just so I really think Paul drove her in the, he wasn't supposed to drive, I think he did, and to get her up, just drive a block away. He said, hey, yours. He's, a stroke recovering man, but I can do that. But anyway, it's about like my pa. When my mom come in, and she had her Bible, a big old Bible, and she said, our Bible didn't have a binding on it. Some of the pages were missing. It was something that would hand me down from a discarded Bible at the church house. And that's what we had. My mom brought her Bible. Her name is her Bible. And she brought the Bible in and said, Gladys, you need this Bible to raise these children. That night, we all had one big room. It was a storehouse where you used to go into the country store and you had shelves and different things. And all of it, that's where we lived. And over in one corner was my brother and I. I don't know, he might have been 2 years old, something like that. I don't remember how old he was, but he was already born. And then in this corner was my sisters. And then in the middle of that part of the house on that wall was the bed for my parents. We all lived in one room. But here we are, first night, got us a Bible, Ma's Bible, and my mother had us come and sit down at the foot of the bed. She sat on the bed, and we sat down on the floor at the foot of the bed. And she opened the Bible to a certain place and read. And she really got into this thing about raising us with that Bible. Then as time went on and we went to the fields and picked cotton, there was a practice that we did. We were picking our own cotton, but we got paid. So we weighed up what we picked, and it's put in little booklets, what each one did. And then when the cotton was taken to the gin and sold, then out of that money, then we were each one paid. And there'd be a lot of coins, not very many dollar bills, but a lot of coins. And we get paid. And then here we are sitting around the foot of the bed, our mother with the Bible open. And she's reading Malachi about tithes and offerings, being blessed, in our prayers. And so we each one got to put our money. I had my pile of money over here, and each one had that. And then we said, now how much is a tithe? And so we count out how many pennies we had. We take one, slide it over in the middle. How many nickels we had, and we take a tenth part of that and slide them over to the middle. And how many dimes we had, we sign it over to the middle. How many quarters we had, and we slide over. And the Lord had our mother doing it, or our mother was doing this for the Lord and because of the Lord, teaching us children, how to tithe, honor God with our substance. When we went to our truck patches, and we had always had, we called it a garden. I want to tell you, it's more like truck patch. We always had more beans we could ever eat or put up because we didn't have enough fruit jars and things that took to put it up, large amounts it is. And then we had all the cucumbers that you could work with making pickles, and still had pickles left over. It wouldn't be nothing for me to go out in the garden and gather, and I'd get one of those pickles and start eating it right there. And we come to our beans. They were like some we've seen over at Fowler's pictures of. We put sticks out there, and then you climb up that a vine going up there and have beans all the way up that. Some were the little dwarf-like bush beans all down there, and all these different kinds of beans, peas, and we had all those things. And we had potatoes when the potatoes come along, you see the ground cracking. They're pushing the ground up as the potato was growing, and we had potato time that we plowed up everything. I'd take the mule and the plow and just plow up everything. But that's not how you started out. Started out, you just dug enough to eat, and let the potatoes continue to grow. But we would take out of that. We do this here at Oakcrest. I didn't do that. It's just natural, and that is when they get extra food, they call it tithing on it, and they take some of their food and give it to someone in the church that needs it, and they're distributing tithes for the church, if you please. So it's very, very scriptural, and so this was how we was raised now as children. And then when we were able to read, I was the worst one come to read. My sisters, oh goodness, even my younger sister was just outdoing me in reading. But I read sometimes in the Old Testament too, and it's up to my mother where we were reading, and I would read, and I'd come to a word that I couldn't identify that word, and I'd say blah, 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 and just go on reading some word I did. That's about the best of my reading, but we were still reading the Word of God. So then those two things I contribute to the four of us to be in our senior years. And all sorts of things that can happen health-wise, what we call accidents or violence from someone that can cut our life down now. We're not so foolish to think that we can't die, my goodness. I'm just saying that this is why I contribute to our senior years of these four. And so then everyone at all ages, you just love your parents, honor your parents, don't sass them, don't talk back to them. You say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. You do what you're told, and it'll go so well with you. And in time, you say, you know what? This is what the preacher said. Well, you say, but if the Lord comes this year, we won't live that. That's wonderful. That would be wonderful. If the Lord come and get us out of here this year. It would be wonderful that God would come and take us out of this perilous time before the tribulation starts on us. That would be wonderful. You say, yeah, but what about us? Well, you just be occupied. Very simple. You be reading the Word where you're at. You obeying your parents where you're at. You honor them. You honor them. Give them a good hug. Honor them. And so you're occupying at all ages. And I'm telling you, all ages. You're occupying according to the scriptures, and as a result, you're being blessed now. And if we all go to heaven today, that's wonderful. Hallelujah. Everybody's occupied. We get to take you with us. Well, reading the book of Revelation really sobers my mind that we're so close to the harvest wrath of God. Oh, thank God. I will not experience it. I will. We're going out of here. We're going out. And you can only go out one or two ways. And that's the way it is. It's the way it's always been. And that is you can die physically. Die physically. But spiritually, you don't die. The spirit the real you that is housed inside this body, the real you, we caught up to paradise immediately. Paul said this very clearly. He said, if you get out of the body, you're present with the Lord. So then, absent, present. And so then, it'd be wonderful. But here's the greater wonder. The greater wonder is being alive at the time the Lord comes and calls us into glory. We leave here without dying. We don't leave here without being changed, but we leave here without dying. And, so then if you're just occupying and honoring your parents, you got something working for you right now. Whether you go to be with the Lord at the age of 6, you go to be with the Lord at the age of 16, you go to be with the Lord at the age of 26, you go to be with the Lord at the age of 36, 46, 56, 66, 76, 86, I'm telling you, and we talk about Brother Spicer, maybe 96, whatever age we are, when the Lord shouts and the trumpet sounds that only the saints can hear. We'll be like that song. We'll be like them that dreamed. Hallelujah. Well, a good little fellowship. I hope it didn't bore you too much. Is everybody clear on Thanksgivings? Brother Finney got that shot in his left eye, and that's our prayers are. His eyes will be preserved. Thank the Lord that there's a doctor that can do something, and they are doing something. Also, thank the Lord. I told Brother Finney, our president. He said, we got folks up in the north part of the country, northwest, particularly northeast, that they travel and go across Canada, across the border into Canada, to buy drugs like insulin for just a few dollars and come back. People down on the south and southwest, they go cross over into Mexico to buy insulin, other drugs, just a few dollars. He said, now we're going to put a stop to that. We're not stopping you from going over there. We're going to get these prices here. But he's working on getting those insulin prices down here in America. I told Brother Finney that right now he's reached a point for the year for his deductible over the big equipment that purchased for him. Goes into the thousands, of course. And so his insulin yesterday, I think it was yesterday, not only didn't cost, it didn't have to do a copay. And so thank the Lord for that. But I said, let me know when our president gets that price down. I want you to tell me. All right, Sister Kathy saying hello to everyone, and we say hello to you, sister. All right. Are you clear? I think I've done a lot of talking. Your life can be added to and blessed with miracles as well, because these things will bless you. These things will bless you. All right. All right. Are you clear? I think this is Thursday. So you're good for a day. And the Lord bless you. Bless your health. Oh, let bless you, spiritually bless you with wisdom and sweetness and a rest for your soul throughout this day and into the morrow. We'll look for you then. God bless you. Good day.